Nearby Frankfurt.
Frankfurt?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Frankfurt or somewhere in Baden-Württemberg or something like that.
It's Wolfsburg, if you have
Wolfsburg.
idea
Ah,
about
okay, okay, okay.
not Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg is something related to Volkswagen industry, but this is Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg. I know. I've been there.
Okay, okay.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thanks.
Very welcome. Everybody can hear me, right? Hear me, see the screen as well?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, let's start the session with the prayer first. Close your eyes, palms together, seek the blessing from your gurus, God and goddesses. So if you are done, slowly open your eyes. Okay, today we are going to see the remaining Bhavas for the Saturn. So I little bit changed the agenda of today. Usually we go with the Kocharam followed by the horoscope analysis, then with the usual class. But I modified the pattern here. We are going to see the Kocharam as usual, then followed by the class. Then finally we are going, the third part is the horoscope analysis. So some few weeks what I felt was whatever I planned I'm not able to finish. So I changed like this the pattern. Is that okay for everyone?
Okay, Vanita. Good idea.
Okay, then also. We'll start with the Kocharam first. Today's Kocharam was Guru in the Rishabha, Mangal in the Mithuna, Ketu in the Kanya, Chandra in Moon in the Danu, Shani in the Kumbha, Surya Rahu Budan, Shukran in the main Rasi. Okay, when the Chandra was in the Dhanush Rasi, the peoples who have to see for Dhanur Lagna, Dhanur Rashi, or the Dhanur Rashi becomes the 8th house, 6th house, or the 12th house peoples, or when are the Ketu or the Rahu aspecting the 8th house for them. 8th house means exactly the Dhanur Rashi. This is the best day for analysis for yourself. Self-reflection, how your mind was moving one day to another, one moment to another. This is the best day to watch yourself. Okay. Today we are going to see a little bit about the Kocharam in a different way. Let's find out the Panchang first. Today Tithi is the Navami, followed by the Dasami. Nakshatra, Purvashada, followed by the Uttarashada. Yoga was Varyana. Varyana, mostly it was in Tamil we call it as a Vajram, if I'm not wrong. Pariga, followed by the Pariga. Karna is the Taitule, Garaja and the Vanija. Weekday is the Ravivara, Paksha is the Krishna Paksha. Okay. Today, what we are going to see a little bit more about the Gocharam. So, whatever the day, till now, what we did, we found out what is the planetary position for every day. That the part was, I hope everyone understood it clearly. Then we understood about the Chandra, movement of the Chandra every day, how the Chandra was moving from one Rashi to the another. What are the things we have to look into in the daily Gocharam? These two things, everybody clear, right?
Yes.
We are moving into one step forward. Okay. What is it one step forward? Whenever you see the daily Gocharam, the other important things we have to see about was the yearly planets. Firstly, Guru, Sani, Rahu, and the Ketu. These four planets, if you see in the daily Gocharam efficiently, we find out many things in our horoscope itself. Okay. Now Guru was in the Rishabha Rasi. So the Guru have the three aspects, right? External. What are they?
579.
579. Okay. Now the Guru aspecting the Kanya, Guru aspecting the Vrikshaka, Guru aspecting the Makara. This is happening in the Gochar. Remember this one, we come back to the same discussion in 2 slides up. Okay. Now get back into the Sunny aspects also. Sunny now it was in the Kumbha Rashi in few days or few months. Okay, Rahu Ketu transit will happen in a few months, if I'm not wrong, few days, I guess. We'll see the Rahu and Ketu in detail in the next week. Now I'm skipping the Rahu and Ketu today. We are going to see only the Guru and the Sunny. Okay, Sunny aspect the 3, 7, 10. Shani aspect the Mesha, Shani aspect the Simha, Shani aspect the Vrakshika. So keep that in mind. How we can see that combined with our horoscope. Okay, I use the Satish horoscope for this so that we can easily understand. You can do the same exercise with your horoscope also. So that will give you the different perspective, how you can see the daily gocharam combined with your horoscope. Okay. The inner chart which shows the Satish horoscope. Okay. This is the Satish horoscope. The outer layer is the gocharam. This point is clear. The inner chart is the anybody's birth chart. The outer chart is the gocharam. Okay. Now, how you can see this? Now we'll concentrate only on the let's concentrate on the speed moving planet, which is Chandra. Now the Chandra is over the Mars. That means Chandra is over the 7th house of the Satish. Is this clear?
Yes.
This is the 7th house for Satish horoscope. Okay. Now the Chandra was in the Dhanur in the Gochara. That is, this is the daily planetary motion. Let me show you the different. The outer layer of the chart is the daily planetary motion. Now the Chandra was in the Dhanur Rashi. When you compare against with your birth chart, what is that meaning? Chandra over your 7th house. In other words, Chandra over your Dhanur Rashi. In other words, Chandra over your Mars. Is this clear?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Now
So
we'll move into
Chandra is in Dhanu and as well as in this one, Mars also, correct. Okay.
Okay. So now we'll see the very, very slow moving planet, that is the Saturn. Now, in the Gocharam, that is in your daily planetary motion, Saturn moves in the Kumbha Rasi. That means here it is. Okay?
Yeah.
Now we have to see what are the aspects of the Saturn in the Gocharam itself. Now, Saturn aspects the Mesha, Saturn aspect the Simha, Saturn aspect the Vrikshika. That means 3, 7, 10 aspect. These all the 3 Rasi which is getting affected, which is Mesha, Simha and the Vrikshika. Now, how we can see this? Here, if you see this, in the Janana Jadagam for the Satish also, Saturn is in the Kumbha Rasi. Now, the Saturn in the Gocharam also, it is in the Kumbha Rasi. That means Saturn over Saturn, Sunny over the Sunny. This is an interesting thing to analyze and research also. Why? When the Gocharam is also the same Graha, and in your Janana Jadagam is also in the same position, in your entire life, this one portion of the point in your life will give you the different maturity level, how you see the life will be entirely different from other years of your life. Let's check with Satish itself. Satish is joined this class. Yeah, Satish is here. Satish, how is your life when the Sunny was transit to Kumbha from till now? Satish? Maybe he may not able to
It
speak.
was just going on. I didn't feel any remarkable changes. My thought process is fine. And whatever is, but things are going very slow.
That is the base thing about the Saturn. In normal days, when imagine a situation when the Saturn was in the Magara Rasi, you may did the work in a speed of at least in a scale of 1 to 10, you may did the speed of at least 8. But when the things comes into this combination, definitely things get very slow. It will below 5 in the scale of 10. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, even less than that.
Yeah. The Saturn is the very, very slow planet. The same effect, it's also impact in your life. Even if your whatever the thought process which in your thinking also, that also become very slow. Even if your thought process was tremendously increased, when the Saturn is over in the Gocharam, and you also do this research, when the moon was coming here, one point in time the moon is coming here, right? The Chandra will come into Kumbha Rasi, right?
Another 2 days, yeah.
Yeah. check that day, how is your thought process? Is that comparatively faster or comparatively slower?
Okay. Sure, I'll do that.
This is the way you can understand the horoscope very easily. Okay, let's come back to the lesson here. So when the Saturn was in, why we need to see this one? So the Mesha Rasi, what is the which house is the Mesha Rasi for Satish Jatakam? Satish Lagna was in the Mithuna Lagna. Sorry, Satish Lagna was the Mithuna Lagna. So the
My
Mesha
11th
becomes
house.
the 11th house, and the Simha becomes him third house. And which one it is? And this is the sixth house. So when the Saturn was in the Kumbha Rasi, the other three houses also get affected during the Gocharam. That is the 11th house, third house, and the sixth house. So it comes in the, what is the 11th house? Anybody remember? Your fulfillment of desire, your luck, your any gains, everything comes under the 11th house. The third house comes with any kind of the communication in this modern world. Whatever the tool which you are using for the communication, it may be a newspaper, it may be a mail, it may be any kind of the documentation, letters, whatever it is, whichever you used for your communication, it all comes under the third house. And the sixth house is your job or enemy or your debts or your diseases. So these kind of the whatever the things which we listed now, it will have the significant amount of the influence Saturn's energy in it. Imagine a situation when the Saturn was in the Makara Rasi, the influence was not that much. But when the Saturn now it was in the Kumbha Rasi, aspecting this 11th, 3 and the 6th Bhava, whatever the significance of this Bhava will get greatly influenced by the Saturn's energy. Satish may get a luck in a sufficient amount of days, but when comes into this period, he may not get that kind of the luck or the fulfillment of his desires. It will be achieved. There is no doubt about it. But the prolonged days will be there. That is the influence of the Saturn. The communication, when comes into the communication, whichever the significance of the third house, it will be get delayed, even if he is expecting his some kind of information from other peoples or some kind of a communication from others, that is also delayed during this period. When it comes into the sixth house, Saturn will aspect in the sixth house. It may delay, but sometimes it increase the work efficiently. But here for the Satish, we have to see the Graha combination which is in the sixth house also, because the three grahas present in it. This is not only we have to consider the aspect of the Saturn, we have to consider on the whole combination of these three grahas. Okay. Then when you comment, you have to keep that in mind. The Saturn influence is here. Then you have to consider the Mercury, Ketu, and the Sun. We already discussed this combination in the last week. In addition to that, this much is clear.
We
Yes,
lost the audio, last sentence. Can you please repeat?
Oh, I repeat the same thing again. See. The last week we saw about the sixth house for the Satish, right? There we understand Mercury retrograde, Ketu and the Sun, how we can see this grahas combination. Here the Mercury touches the Ketu, Ketu touches the Surya. So that means Mercury, Ketu combination, Ketu and the Surya combination. Now this is the grahas combination. Along with this, the Saturn influence is also there. What does it mean? See, when the Mercury touches the Ketu, whatever it was going to give, that will be delayed or it will be very slow because of the Saturn influence. See, it was the carpet was the Pocharam. So the carpet was your Dasha Buddhi. On top of it, the Pocharam is also there. Then your grahas placed into it. Then you, on the whole, holistically, you have to derive the solution. The formula for this is very easy, but when you deep into the analysis, it will become a little bit tricky, a little bit complicated also. Okay, this much clear about the Gosharam? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see more about the Ragu and Ketu in the next week, because the Ragu and Ketu is the whole new world. We have to change our perspective, little bit twisted here and there. So that's why I leave that Ragu and Ketu for in a separate class. Okay. I'll move into the Saturn. This is about the today's class. We are moving into the second part. We'll quickly finish this, and the last part is about discussing the Satish Harush. Okay. Saturn, another name for the Saturn is the Sanishwara. Okay, mainly when Sanishwara comes into the picture, you have to be seen as Sanishwaran as the good judge, and he was very, very good in his wise decision. And if anybody was a good judge, means he took the first place of that position. He's a very good judge and very organized in any work he's doing, and very structured and highly disciplined. The none of the graha is that much discipline other than Saturn. And comes into the justice, Saturn is the best person. He was such a he can make a decision in such a way that he won't miss any single piece of information about the good and bad things for any person. So that much he's a good judge. And when you imagine a Saturn, imagine in such a way that he's a hard worker, disciplined person, an organized structure, very well organized. Okay, there is also another side of the Saturn. He was slowly moving planet. Slowly moving means very, very slowly. Imagine a situation when the moon influenced a person and the Saturn influenced a person. Both the peoples will do the work very beautifully. But the moon influenced person will do the work instantly, but the Saturn influenced person will do the work slowly, still slowly, but he's still doing the work. End of the day, we can't say both of things not doing the work. Both are doing the works. What is the difference here? The difference is the speed. The difference is an efficiency. But you can't say the Saturn didn't have an efficiency. Saturn have a very great efficiency, but it is very slow. The movement is very, very slow. It's also impacting the person's daily life also. So that's why the people call it as a delay. People call it as a lazy. We won't consider that as a lazy. That is a nature of the Saturn. But how we can overcome that lazy also, we saw that in the previous classes. Let's get into more about the Saturn. Saturn owns two houses, Makara and the Kumbha. Saturn is another planet, like Mercury. It's not a female energy, it's not a male energy, it's a combination of the both. When the Graha, which is having the combination of both this energy, it exhibits different potential altogether. If you see in the Shiva and Parvati, Ardhanadeshwara holds the difference energy. When you see the Shiva as a Shiva, Parvati as the full energy of the female. But when you see combined with the Ardhanadeshwara, the energy was entirely, completely different. So just like that, the Saturn and the Buddha exhibits their potential in a very, very different way. And the Saturn is significant, representing the old age peoples. Buddha was representing very young people below 16, above 12 and above 19, below 12. Okay, it's in the range of 12 to 19 for the Buddha. We'll come back to Saturn. So the gender is the aspect is the 3, 7, 10. Direction is the west. Direction is 10, also west. Malefic, absolutely malefic. Adidevata, Prajapati. Pratyadi Devata, Yama. Yama is also an elder brother for the Saturn. Elements Vayu, Dosha, Vata. When you see the people who have the highly Saturn influence, their body is also reflecting that. Their Vata energy is really high. How you can see that? Their skin becomes dry very easily. They can't tolerate the chillness. Even if you ask them to sit under the AC for an hour, they feel so much discomfort because their skin is not that much tolerable to hold that cold in it. Why? Because the Vata was highly influenced in their body. The Vata energy was really high comparatively with others. Okay. But the other things we have to know, debilitated in the Mesh Rasi, And anybody remember where it was exalted? Saturn exalted in
Tula.
Tula Rasi. Debilitation is the 20 degrees. Same thing goes for exaltation also. Okay, let's know more about the Saturn. Relationship for the Saturn is the friends of the Mercury and Venus. As I said earlier, remember this group. When you are remembering about the relationship, Saturn, Mercury, and Venus forms one group. Jupiter, Sun, Moon, and the Mars forms another group. So if you want to easily remember, when this combination comes, one way, when the Saturn, Mercury, Venus combination comes, one they become friends or neutral. Either one only. They won't become an enemies. But when this combination comes, similarly, they won't become an enemies, at least they become neutral or friends. The moon is in special. Moon won't consider anybody as the enemy, either friend or neutral. Okay. Now let's come into the Saturn. Saturn considered Mercury and Venus as a friend. Neutral is the Jupiter. Enemies are the Sun, Moon, and the Mars. And Nakshatra, 8 is the Pushya Nakshatra, 17 Anuradha, 26 Uttara Bhadrapada. Saturn's Dasha period is the 19 years. Okay, little bit more about the Saturn. Marana Karaka when it is in the first house. The people will say that when the Saturn in the Lagna, it won't give you that much auspiciousness. Obviously, yes, but it will give you that much of an obstacles in one's life. They can encounter that obstacles in a different fashion. Combustion, when it comes near to the sun, it becomes combustion 0 to 15 degree. It was in the books, but the people will say when the sun, people means the astrologers, most of the astrologers will consider that when the Saturn comes nearest to the sun, plus or minus 5 degree, considered as an absolutely combusted. Okay, just keep that in mind. When you see the Saturn and the sun plus or minus 5 degree, you can consider it as the combustion. Yoga Karaka for the Rishabha and the Tula, Saturn becomes the Yoga Karaka for that. Why? Because the Trikona and the Kendra comes in the 9th house of the Magara, 10th house for the Kumbha, for the Rishabha Rasi, Rishabha Lagna. Tula Lagna, 5th house becomes the Kumbha, 4th house becomes the Magara. If anybody forgot what is the Yoga Karaka, the same Graha becomes the Trikona, also present in the Kendra. That becomes your Yoga Karaka for that. Every Lagna will have the Yoga Karaka? No. For which Yoga Karaka Saturn becomes a Yoga Karaka? For the Rishabha and the Tula. Badakasthana, Mesha is Mesha Rasi, Chara Rasi means 11th house is the Kumbha Rasi. That's why a lot of obstacle is the Saturn. For the Rishabha Lagna, it is Trir Rasi, 9th house becomes the Badakasthana. That's why Makara Rasi becomes the Badakasthana, of course. Then the lot of obstacle is the Saturn. This much is clear, right? We already know about this, I guess. Okay. If I'm going I'm going a little bit fast because I believe we know all these things earlier. Navagraha Sostram for the Sani, Neelanjana Samabhasham, Raviputram Imagrajam, Chaya Martanda Sambodham, Tam Namami Sanaisharam. So if there was a various ways to invoke the Shani, this is the Stostram is the Navagraha Sotram is the best way to invoke the Sunny's energy because the every word it literally represents the Sunny's energy. So if you try to invoke this, the Sunny's energy will come into immediately. If you light a lamp, particularly with the sesame seeds, with the sesame oil, particularly on the Sunday, particularly on a Saturday, the Sunny's energy is really high and particularly that day. Every graha will have the every graha prominent energy will comes on every day of the week. Like Sunday is for sun, like today. Saturday for the sunny, and the Monday for the Chandra, Tuesday for the Mars, like that. The Saturday is for the sunny. Saturday's energy significant, prominently increased when Saturday was coming. So Saturday is the best day for the sunny. Is this bottom line? So when you lit the lamp, particularly with the sesame oil with the sesame seeds on the block cloth, you can make a bundle and lit the lamp. That is also one procedure for invoking the Saturn's energy. There are the many ways you can invoke the Sun's energy. Okay. We already learned about the Saturns in the first house, particularly it was the Marana Karakasthana for the Saturn, but it's a good for the people if they, from the earlier stage itself, if they follow the pattern, if they follow the good behaviors, good eating habits, good lifestyle, it won't bother them. Literally, it won't bother them. Because in nature, the Saturn in the first house peoples, they're very organized, they're very disciplined, they're structural in the profession. They want to live for the work only. They want to live for the profession only. But when you make them, when you ask them to see the life in such a way that there is also your life, personal life, there is also your work life. You have to balance. You have to balance in one or the other way. They can understand at least, but it's their poor behavior. They want to devote their life to the profession itself. Saturn in the second house.
Vanitha madam, 1 minute. This one, first house, if it is good or bad, you mean to say, in the first house itself, in the Lagna only, Saturn.
Lagna is it's when it comes into the good or bad, it's a complicated to answer, but it will give you that kind of the struggle to a Jataka is true or false. It's true. It will give that much of the difficulty to the Jataka. Yes, but how you can overcome that? That is another totally and different story.
And they had to work hard. They have to work hard.
They no need to work hard. Their poor behavior itself, they will work hard only. They believe
it is retrograde. If it is retrograde in Lagna, so if Saturn is retrograde in Lagna,
okay, Saturn retrograde. Okay, wait a second. That is it. When the Saturn was retrograde means the karma which is come back into this life was greatly influenced. When in any of your horoscope, if the graha was retrograde means their karma was deeply influenced for this life. They come back with this kind of the karma to here in this life.
Okay.
Retrograde means it was retrograde or not. If the Saturn was in the first place means it will do the same work. But when the retrograde means it will definitely do it for sure.
Okay.
Is the life is in a difficulty, the difficulty will come, the obstacles will come. Yes, absolutely it will come. How it will come? When the first house Saturn, the peoples make them very slow. They have an intention to do the work. But then the energy didn't make them to allow them to do the work. They do the work very slowly. But for them, they are doing. They are literally doing. But when other people were seeing, why you are not doing the work?
I see.
But for them, it was not like that. I'm doing the work. I'm hardworking. I'm absolutely doing my work. But when other people are seeing them, they feel like they're lazy. But they are not lazy. Their nature is like that.
I see.
That's why I told you.
Nothing will come easily for them. Correct?
Nothing will come easily.
Nothing will come easily.
Yes, nothing will come easily for them. Yes, that's a great part. Nothing will come easily for them.
Okay.
Why? Because when other people can do the work in 10 minutes, these people will take 10 hours. Nothing will come easily to them. They put their hard work, but okay, then you may ask the questions, Vanitha, they are doing this much of the hard work, they will get the benefit? Absolutely. If imagine a situation, if one person do the work in 10 minutes, they will get a benefit out of it 10%. But when the Saturn do the work for even 10 hours, they will get the work 100% for sure. Even if they are doing in their profession, even if they are doing in the work, the benefit was exactly 100%. It won't miss a single point.
Okay. Varnakaraka is something of Varnakaraka? You said first house.
Means this one only. They won't get anything easily. They won't. Everything comes in a struggle for them. Everything is an obstacle for them. If one person will say, okay, my life is easy, my life is joy, but the Saturn in the first house will say, man, I'm not like that. I'm literally hardworking every day, and I can't even achieve anything. That kind of the life it is. But when you see the person who Saturn in the first house, if you see the person in an early age of themselves, But if you see the person in the very adult age, in near to 70, 60, I'm not sure how they can make it. But if you see the any of the horoscope, which is below 5 years old, or which is below 12 years old, even you below 19 years old, you can ask them to change their lifestyle. You can ask them to change their good health, eating habits, good habits in their lifestyle. You have to make them to understand it is okay, it is nature for you, it is the things will come not that much easily, but if you hard work, it will come to them. But the benefit when comes into the Saturn in the first house, the benefit is 100% for sure. But
Thank you.
how their effort they have to put for
Yeah,
sure.
thank you.
The luck
Thank you.
is not the luck is
Oh.
not the next door for them. The
Okay.
luck is far away from them.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
It is about the Saturn in the first house, Saturn in the second house. Again, here, these peoples are very well organized, disciplined, structured in the family environment. When it comes into the family, there is a higher chances these peoples are belongs to their Lord as well. But aspects on the fourth house, eighth house, and the 11th house. So the one quality of the Saturn is the distance, keeping distance from every relation. When fourth house represents your mother, so when the Jataka have there is a chances they keep the distance from the mother, or they don't like the comforts of the younger age. They feel like even they have everything in their life, they don't like to enjoy that kind of luxury item. Imagine a situation if the Venus was in the fourth house and the Jataka will enjoy everything in their life. But if it sits in the Saturn's house, even if it was having in all the luxury item, whatever the things they can have in their life, they try to lead a simple life. Okay, now comes in the eighth aspect of the eighth house. It's a long life, very good. And the 11th house, everything was delayed. Everything was delayed. Even if you have in number of effort you put, it will be delayed. But what is the one good thing here? They will achieve the huge gains at the end. Okay. Now comes into Saturn in the third house, a favorite. It's a very much favorite house for the Saturn. These peoples are very much, the voice is different, especially the voice is literally different. They are creating a nation, very heavy voice. You can easily find them. The Saturn in the third house, their voice is really heavy. And success, definitely their success in their business. It aspects the fifth house, ninth house, and the 12th house. There is a higher chances for the foreign travel, and they can travel for the business, for the work. When the Saturn aspects fifth house, increase the creativity of the person as well. Okay, now comes into the today's class. This is also about the previous class list revision. Now let's see about the Saturn in the fourth house. Okay, anybody remember what is the fourth house represents? Fourth house.
Property, mother.
Mother.
Mm,
Mother,
Comfort.
then
Comfort.
comfort. Anybody was
Yeah.
saying comfort? Okay,
Conveyance.
comfort. Somebody was saying something I couldn't hear. What is that?
Conveyance. A vehicle.
Oh, vehicle. Okay, vehicle. Then
Property.
yeah, set.
Mother,
Yes,
peace,
mother.
happiness, education, and test. What is it?
Awesome.
Education.
Oh, this one.
Education.
Awesome. Very good. This is a basic level of an education, mother, vehicle, assets, and comforts. Particularly if anyone wants to know about what's the thing makes me happy in their life, go and see the fourth house. The fourth house literally represents what is your happiness in this life, particularly in this dimension, in this lifetime, what is your happiness? That's represented in the fourth house. Okay. Now, this kind of the significance of the fourth house. Now, the Saturn was placed in it. What is the Saturn? The Saturn is then highly disciplined person. He's very well organized. He structured everything, but even then, he wants to distance from the relation. He wants to do the work very slowly. But if you ask the Saturn, are you doing the work or not? Absolutely, I'm doing very hard work. But if any of the other people will say, no, he's he's very lazy, he didn't do the work fast. There is a delay in the work, absolutely. Okay. Now let's see this kind of a Saturn sitting in the 4th house. Okay, they may have the tough childhood if the Saturn goes in the 4th house. The tough childhood can be anything. They may struggle for the basic life needs. They may not get a good education. Their comforts was in a question. Everything comes under the tough childhood. There is a higher chances they make a distance from their mother, or if they are not distance from their mother, at least they live far away from their motherland. If the relationship between the mother and the child was very good, it cannot be possible in their own land. It will be possible when they are living in the foreign land. Okay, these people have a very good in networking with others. They know how to connect with the peoples. Okay, now let's see about the aspects. It's having the 3, 7, 10 aspects. The first bhava is the 10th aspect, the 6th bhava is the 3rd aspect, the 10th bhava is the 7th aspect. Let's see one by one. When Saturn was aspecting the Lagna means only one word, that is the discipline. That too, it was representing the Lagna, that means the self. The self-discipline is very much important. They are highly disciplined. They will give you a lecture to you if you're going to correct them, or you're trying to give any advice on the discipline activities. They will give you n number of lectures to you. Okay. Now let's see the 6th bhava, that is the third aspect. Here the sixth house, we already know what is that. It is the disease, debts, and your enemies, as well as your job as well. When the Saturn was aspecting this kind of hidden houses, it will give you good health, and it makes you to do the service to the society. The people will love to do the service to the society. It becomes the core nature for them. Even though the other people will say they are very selfish, they can't this, but when there was a chance opportunity provided in front of them, their service attitude will exhibit in a very beautiful way. Okay. Now, 10th bhava, we already know what is the 10th bhava. Anybody remember what is the 10th bhava? 10th house for your profession. Dharmasthana, your profession as well. What is the meaning of profession here? The 6th house is you work under somebody, you get a salary for that. But here, you do your own business, you give salary to somebody, and you own the business. And that is also Dharmasthana. When even the 10th bhava aspected by the Saturn means these peoples are very much hardworking, and they're very good in the administration. And now the one line about the Saturn in the fourth house is very organized, disciplined, structured with the self, work, and the health. This is a very good for Saturn. But only one thing is the relationship is always distant. Keep making the distance between the mother and the child. Mother and the Jataka, whoever the Jataka is, maybe son or girl, whoever it is. Let's see the Saturn in the 5th house. Anybody remember what is the 5th house represent?
Children.
Yes, children.
Fame.
Fame.
Talent.
What is it?
Romance. Creativity.
Romance.
Talent. Emotions.
Romance, creativity. Then what is it?
Emotions.
Emotion.
Children. Fame, talent, emotions.
Parent. Why parent comes here?
Talent.
Talent. Talent. Oh, sorry. I heard it is a parent. Okay. This is enough. Let's see, and any kind of an entertainment, amusement related things. It also comes under the fifth house. What is amusement? It can be a cinema, it can be any amusement parks, whichever it is, it comes under the fifth house. Your intellectual talent comes under the fifth house. Any kind of the speculative related activities, like you involving in the gambling, involving in the share market, anything which the activities involves in the speculation comes under the fifth house. If you are doing any kind of the childlike activities, comes under the fifth house. Literally, children are represented in the fifth house. And the romance and the creativity also, your fame is also represented in the fifth. So this is all the fifth house. Now let's see about the set. We already know about set. Organized, discipline, structured, and one thing is delay, lazy in the work. Okay. Now we'll combine all these things together in the Saturn in the fifth house. Okay. Delay in all these aspects. What are they? Importantly, the fifth house represents the creativity, but the Saturn was sitting in it. Saturn will definitely greatly influence where it was sitting. So it delays the process of the thinking. The creativity obviously involves the thinking process, but when the Saturn was thinking, it blocks the thinking itself. But interestingly, it opens another gate. They think strategically. The creativity thinking is totally different. The strategic thinking is totally different. It can block the way for the creativity, but it opens another gate. Okay. Delay in creativity, obviously, yes, because the thought process was already blocked. And there is also delay in the kids also. And in the first child, fifth house is for the first child. The first child maybe it will be in delay in the process. Okay? Now let's see about the second bhava. Second bhava is the 10th aspect, seventh bhava is the third aspect, 11th bhava is the seventh aspect. Let's see one by one. Second bhava we already know what is that. Your family, your speech, all things comes under the second bhava. When the Saturn was aspecting that one, there is a delay in forming your own family also. What does it mean? If you are trying to, that means implicitly your marriage will get delayed. Or even if you get married in an early age, the child won't come that much easily. You have to wait for a first kid for a very long time, even for 10 years, 12 years. There is a long waiting period will be there before the first child arrive in your life. So that's why the forming one's family is also delayed. And the seventh bhava, delay in marriage, obviously. Seventh bhava is representing of your marriage, your spouse. So the marriage is delayed. And the 11th bhava, it kind of can bring the speculative gain. So you may ask these questions, Vanita, when it comes into the relationship, why are you giving a negative perspective? When it comes into the materialistic, why are you giving the good one? That is the Saturn's energy. When it comes into the relation, it keeps the distance. But when it comes into the material gain, the Saturn will give this or whatever it can. So it can bring the speculative gain. So obviously, the luck is in your favor. You can gain from your business, gain from your media, gain from your entertainment. Why you can gain from media and entertainment? Because the fifth house also represents the entertainment business. So you can gain from the media and the entertainment business. So one line how you can define this. Very organized, discipline, structured with your thinking, creativity is really less here than the speculation. Okay. I'm going to ask one thing to everybody. Anybody who is having a Saturn in the fifth house? No? Saturn in fourth house? Okay. Let's move into Saturn in the sixth house. Sixth house is represents your disease, represents the debts, represents your enemies, the job. This is all about the sixth house. And the Saturn, we already know about it. It's very organized, discipline, structure, and delay in process. Everything it is very slow. Everything is very delayed. Okay. That kind of the Saturn's energy sitting in the sixth house. Okay. Currently, whatever I maybe I repeated this same sentence again and again in every classes, but this one is really needed. Whatever which we saw here till now, the fourth house, fifth house, till fifth house is the happiest scenario for the Saturn. That means the Saturn is only present in the fifth house. Imagine the situation, Saturn is only present in the fifth house. Then what is in another scenario will come? Imagine a situation, the Saturn combines with the Mercury or Saturn combined with the Mars. These all the different, totally different scenarios. And how we can find out which combination which is coming? The first thing is you have to, every graha will, there is a degree also present with it. In which, okay, this one Rashi is the 30 degree, right? So in this 30 degree, every planet can be in one degree or another degree. So the degree will be represented for every planet. So the first thing is you have to order the grahas based on the degree. Then from that, imagine now the Mercury was the first planet based on the ordering the degrees. Then the Saturn was next. Then the Mars was lost. So what is that meaning? Mercury and the Saturn combination, Saturn and the Mars combination. So you have to take in that order. Why I have to mention this again? So you may have a chances. We have the grahas which is present in your rashis. Like in today's Kocharam also, there was 4 grahas present in it. In few days, I believe it is in the 5 grahas. Yeah, Chandra is also comes on the March 29, if I'm not wrong. There is a higher chances. You may have the 5 grahas present in one Rasi. There is a higher possibility you can see that in Kocharam also. Imagine the situation. The child was born on the March 29. That's an interesting story, right? The child was born on here. So everything was present in the Meena Rasi except the yearly planets. Yeah. So let's come back to our class. So keep that in mind all the time. So this is the way you have to look. But I believe everybody can do your homework. Compare against your horoscope first. First digest your horoscope. In that way, you can eliminate a number of the heart attacks for you. So whenever you see the other people's horoscope, so familiarize your horoscope again and again. Before, suppose in case you feel like I can't touch any of the horoscope because my mind was not that much empathetic, I'm towards the sympathetic. So do the Navagarga Sutram for at least 3 times before touch any horoscope. So your mind have to be in a very, very stable position. You have to be in a mode towards the empathetic way, not towards a sympathetic mode. Why aren't you are mentioning that? I can be sympathetic. No, you should not. Why? Because whenever you see the horoscope for others, if you're sympathetic towards that, you literally affecting your aura. That should not happen. You have to be protecting yourself all the time. If you see another horoscope in a day, the first thing you have to do is protect yourself. Chant the Navagarga Sutram 3 times before touch any horoscope. If it is your own horoscope, doesn't matter. If it is an anybody horoscope, even if your immediate family members also, chant the Navagarga Sutram 3 times. Or if you are chanting any of the prayers continuously for prolonged number of years, and that mantra was imbibing you in your every cell, chant that mantra for as long as you feel like, then touch that horoscope. Why you need this? This is highly, highly needed. Your aura should not affected. Your mind, body, and soul should not get affected with any of the research and studies. Keep that in mind all the time. Okay, now come back here. Now Saturn in the 6th house. We know what is the 6th house. We know what is the Saturn. Now that kind of the Saturn energy was sitting in the 6th house. So this the 6th house is when the Saturn was sitting in the 6th house. This is one thing was beautiful about the Saturn years. Saturn always wants to do service. Saturn was think like provide. Imagine the Saturn was having an energy of 100 in a scale of 100. He want to do the 100 degree of the energy towards the society, want to do the service, all of it. Not even, it won't willing to spend any of its own. It want to give everything towards the society. That kind of the Saturn was sitting in the 6th house means highly successful in the service-oriented profession. If you took the service-oriented profession, anything, it can be your doctors, it can be medical profession, it can be anything. You are involved with any of the NGO. Anything which is involved in the service-oriented profession will be really successful. And they are success in the lawsuits. No one can beat in your lawsuits. This is the best for Saturn in the 6th house. And especially, you have the strong wounds in their teeth. If you see a person who's having a strong wounds, means see the Saturn in the 6th house. They have the Saturn in the 6th house. Okay, so come back and see the 3 aspects. 3rd Bhava for the 10th aspect, 8th Bhava for the 3rd aspect, 12th Bhava for the 7th aspect. Now let's see one by one. 3rd Bhava, you will support from the siblings and the writing books, highly possible. You will get okay. What is the 3rd Bhava represent? 3rd Bhava for which is sibling, younger or elder?
Younger.
Younger one. So you will get from your support from your younger sister or younger brother. This is highly possible. And that you are writing a books or you are writing anything, you are writing essays, whatever it is, which is involved writing, that is also 3rd house. You may also get support for when you are writing the books as well. Okay, one important nature of the Saturn is the Saturn was philosophical in nature. Yeah, if they will see the life as very, very philosophically. If you ask the Saturn person, Saturn influenced person, go and give a lecture, they don't need any notes. They will give a lecture for a day and night. Okay, that kind of the philosophical mind as Saturn was. Keep that in mind. We'll come to that later. Now, the 8th Bhava, 3rd aspect. And it's 8th Bhava, represents your long life as well. And the 3rd aspecting for the 8th house means it gives you the good health and the long life. When the Saturn was aspecting the 8th house means it's a good one. Okay. Now, 12th house, 7th aspect. 12th house obviously it is for the travel overseas or for your business or work or your settlement in the foreign countries. When the Saturn aspect in the 12th house means definitely work in your life. Definitely work in I knew for a second. I got distracted. Okay. Now, 7th house. Anybody having the Saturn in the 6th house? Yes, no?
I have one with 4th house aspect.
Oh, you have? Okay, let's see the 4th house. Remember which Lagna it is?
Vrishchika.
Okay. Okay. Saturn here in Kumbha.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, all aspects are correct. 3rd one.
And 3, 7, 10.
Lagna and the 6. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me first which one is suit or which one it is. It is not.
Distance from mother, it is now that person is living in US, so not with parents. And tough childhood, what I can gather is both the parents were working. So maybe that can be considered as that.
Okay, the tough childhood is also one more thing. The child can feel loneliness in the early age. the Saturn was lived like that. You remember the story of the Saturn? The Saturn had a period of living without his mother, without his father. Father kicked out him. Mother was dead. So, like that situation, he experienced the loneliness in the very very early stage. So that's why it was kind as the tough child.
No, this is not the case.
No, the childhood can be a tough childhood. It depends on the child as well. It can be or cannot be. Okay, we'll consider it wasn't. Okay. Go to the first house. This one.
Yes, yeah, that is correct.
The good health and
Good health is right. Not very sure about the service attitude.
What's the age of the person?
30 to 35.
Oh, definitely now this is the time for him to exhibit. Okay, let's see. For the Saturn's energy to exhibit, after the 30 years, their Saturn's energy can fully come into the person. They are fully eligible to receive the Saturn's energy 100%. So this is the maybe can exhibit in 2-3 years or immediately also. About the 10th Bhava?
Yeah, not too sure about that. I mean, he always studied well and got good marks. I'm not sure if he worked hard for it.
Yeah.
I have Saturn in third house, but I was not there in the previous class.
Do you want to see the Saturn in the third house? Let's see. You remember your Lagna?
Yes, Dhanur Lagna. Dhanur Lagna and Saturn in Kumbha Rasi. Yeah.
We are seeing the Kumbha Saturn for many people now. Wow.
But it's retrograded.
Saturn retrograde.
Yes.
Yeah, 12. You remember anybody who was in the Nine.
And yeah.
You remember anybody who was in the 5th house, 9th house, and the 12th house?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Anybody in the 5th house? 5th house? You have any?
No, I don't have anyone in 5th house. I don't have anyone in 9th house, but in 12th I have Rahu.
Awesome. Uh-oh. Okay, which one is matching for you? Creative and you have heavy voice. Looks like you didn't have. You have a very sweet voice then. And anything that just matches with you?
I'm not fond of writing. I hate writing. I usually remember the things, but I don't write most of the time. I have good relationship with my sister and friends. And I don't have any own business, or currently I'm working in the service-based industry.
About the creative skills?
No, I am not fond of writing or any art or something, but I'm not sure like creative skills.
Travel for business work?
Yes, sometimes I do that. Not for business, but for based on the work, I will just have to travel. And yeah, currently I'm abroad, so and yes, current late. Yeah, but actually not late in life. I'm actually 32. So I think like it's younger age, I guess. So
okay, then Saturn in the third house means when imagine a situation when the Jataka was not having a retrograde Saturn. Okay, then this all things may get approved. But now the situation was a little bit different. But this is not a full Jataka. We are only seeing where the Saturn was aspecting. Only here the Rahu was present in it. The Rahu Maharaj will give a different influence because it was in the 12th house. Okay, now let's see about his, because when the retrograde Saturn was coming, the retrograde makes the thing, whatever the Saturn, retrograde Saturn did, whichever it is going to give, some of the things it won't. Okay, when he didn't have a creativity, but the knowledge is the creativity is there. He will take that creativity out of his potential. It may get delayed because the retrograde Saturn was the deepest karma which you bring towards this lifetime. So when you have this, the fount of writing I don't have, maybe it was deepest in your core. It won't come out of you that much easily. But then you may ask, Vanita, I didn't have a creative skills, but how come I can work for travel for work? Because the Saturn is for work. It makes you to do that. It makes you to give that kind of the energy to travel for work. Why I can't able to start up one business? Because when the retrograde Saturn was there, and you have to see the seventh house as well as the 11th house also, and your second house also. That is a whole different story. But we are going to discuss only on the retrograde Saturn. Retrograde Saturn won't makes you to do your own business that much easily. The energy which is in you, when you come out to that comfort zone, it really takes a tremendous energy to come out of it. When it comes into the 12th aspect, because the Rahu was placed in it, no one can stop your body or foreign travel. Okay. This much is okay, or you have any different thoughts in it?
No, nothing.
So let's go.
Vanita, I have an example for 5th Saturn.
Oh, really? Give me a second. Give me a second.
Kanya Lagna. And Magra, Saturn in Magra.
Saturn in 5th house. Yeah. Give me a minute, I'll be back. Yeah. Sorry, someone was calling. Okay, let's come back to here. Saturn in the Makara. Wow. Okay.
There's no Graha in Meena. There's no Graha in Kataka. But in Tula, there is Sun, Mercury retrograde, Mars combust, and Jupiter combust.
So now the Sun and the Mercury retrograde. Okay. Which one is matched with you? Which one is not?
That guy, okay, he's Delay, yeah, he's slow. He's an artist actually. He's into painting, photography, travel, and he's also into the garment industry. So creativity part, yeah, he takes time to paint, but he does a good job at it. Um, Delay in forming, he's 32 years old and not married, so I don't know. So 217, right? 11th can gain I think speculative gains through business. Yeah, he gets into some short-term businesses opportunities, and he gets whenever he gets an opportunity, he cashes on it. And very organized, discipline, all of that is true. And creativity is at a peak level, but it is slow.
Yeah, this is the beauty about the Saturn. When whatever the potential you have, you won't break that kind of an obstacle inside you. But once you break that obstacle, you blossom like anything.
Yeah.
That is the moment that the real creativity of your entirely of your creativity comes out. Okay, now let's see when see the second house for the 10th aspect. There is a four grahas in it, right? It's just a whole different story.
Yeah.
When the Mercury was retrograde, means these people are really intelligent, definitely intelligent. But the intelligent, how they will believe, somebody have to encourage them. Somebody have to say them, no, you are intelligent, you can do it. Somebody have to push them. Somebody have to make them to realize, no, you have the potential to do it. If somebody was didn't like that, the Mercury retrograde will doubt themselves. They believe that I didn't have any proper knowledge. They will study like anything. But this kind of the four graha combination, we'll see that later. I believe it is too early to say this. Four graha combination. We'll come back to this later. But when you see this is the four kind of four grahas in your Jatakam, follow that procedure which I told you earlier. Sort out which order the grahas in the degree wise, then combine it together two grahas. Then finally you will find have the three grahas combination. Imagine a situation if we order the grahas in the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and the Jupiter, then you will go with the Sun Mercury combination, Mercury Mars combination, Mars and the Jupiter combination. Again, okay, this is the twist in the story. Because these two are combusted, Mars and Jupiter are combusted. Now the Sun will take over that position. That means the Sun's energy will overflow along with the Mercury. So here the prominently can be Sun and the Mercury influence is really high when it comes into the second house. So we'll see this kind of a story later. I believe this is too early to say the four grahas combination. We'll come back and see the same horoscope again. Okay, let's see about the seventh house. We'll finish this with seventh house. Then we'll see about the Satish horoscope. Okay. Anybody want to share anything you have to share about this fifth house horoscope? I'm going a little bit fast. Okay, yeah. Let's finish with the seventh house. Then we'll see the Satish horoscope. Okay, starting in the seventh house, this is the Dikbala, and it's wonderful for the Saturn. Seventh house, it's for your spouse, it's for the marriage, it's for any kind of the business partnership with us. That means your business partners, business, if you're doing a joint ventures, that's all comes under the Saturn in the that's in the seventh house. We already know what is a Saturn. Now, that kind of a Saturn was sitting in a seventh house, that it's seventh house itself a Dikbala for the Saturn. Okay, when the seventh house means the people's opposite to you means not opposing people's. They can be your spouse partners. You are going to really you have to deal with them. You can't avoid them. So that kind of the people's. Now, very lucky in all aspects of their life, and people's are a very hardworking person. Saturn sitting in a seventh house is really good. And definitely these people's are well respected, mature spouse. when the Saturn was sitting in any of the houses, the Jataka can be matured in that particular Bhava itself. Now, the Saturn was sitting in a 7th house means it really well matured. And I already told you, Saturn is another thing for philosophy in nature. The higher philosophy and a highly success in the life. The highly successful can come easily to them. Okay. Now let's see the three aspects of this. First aspect, first bhava, seventh aspect, fourth bhava, 10th aspect, ninth bhava, third aspect. Now let's see one by one. First aspect makes, that is the seventh aspect, makes the seventh aspect looks the lagna itself. That makes the person very much stronger and very active. Okay, one important thing about the Saturn. This is the contradict things to discuss also. I already told you Saturn is a lazy, Saturn is a delaying process. But one thing here is, if you see a Saturn influenced person, they're really active. You can't be active such a kind of an energy. Any other graha influenced person. The Saturn influenced person, if you see that they're really active. That's why they can make it as a very hard work becomes a core strength for them. When the Lagna, the Saturn was aspecting the Lagna, they are really very active. Very active means you can't even believe how much the energy they hold, how much energy they can execute, the actions they can execute. They have a tremendous energy because of the Saturn. Saturn is another for that elemental. It was an ion's energy. That's kind of an energy they will hold. Fourth bhava, it's a 10th aspect. When it comes with luck, come with a home comfort and mother, it's a really good for them. When the fourth bhava means, we already know what is the fourth bhava. It is the mother, asset, land, your vehicle, your happiness, your comfort. Everything comes under the fourth bhava. When the Saturn was aspecting this one, we can have the luck with your home, comfort, happiness, everything. Then the ninth bhava, that is a third aspect. You have the you have the duty towards your father, your guru, the relation or any kind of the religion. You follow that kind of the religion in a very very disciplined way and very organized way. And this is the very good power for the Saturn. Saturn in the 7th house means the people will definitely lead a very successful life. Then you may ask the question, if I have a Saturn in the 7th house and I'm not able to have a successful life. Okay, the successful is again debatable. One person can think success, the other person may think it is a failure. That is again a debatable one. But regardless of that, we have to see what is your lagna when any graha posited in it, and other grahas combination, and what are the grahas aspect. They all together put into one solution. Okay. But right now, what we are seeing, Saturn in the 7th house is the happiest scenario. There was no graha present in it. There is none of the malefic grahas aspecting the 7th house Saturn. So in that case, this is the very good news for the Saturn in the 7th house. All these points will come into play. Anybody having the Saturn in the 7th house?
Vanita, I have a horoscope. The same Tula Lagna and Saturn is in Mesha.
Wow.
So in Mesha, the Saturn is debilitated. Will this apply?
Okay, that is the good one. That's why I placed this also. Okay, when the Saturn was debilitated, when that the debilitated Saturn in the 7th house means whatever we said, it may not come into their life because the energy was depleted, means depleted only. Here we are saying very active means they can be active. Makes the person very strong means it. If some of the other grahas influence, considered if the Mars influence was there, the person can get strong. But it won't because of the Saturn's energy. The luck may not come, but it's by their hard work, they can achieve their comfort. This one, they do it towards the father guru and the religion. It comes, but they don't have that kind of an energy to follow. It may in their mind, but the sufficient energy to do that action, it depends on an individual. Okay, now how you can see this? This all things yes for them, or how it is for that?
Yeah, he is active and strong.
Mm.
And luck, I'm not sure about the luck part. He is hardworking, so he works hard for whatever he wants to get. And the religion, guru, and father, I'm not sure.
Any graha present, you see any graha combination here and here and here? Here.
Lagna, there is no planet in Lagna. No, I don't see any planet anywhere in those houses. 4th house, there are no planets. Then again, 9th house, there are no planets.
Oh, okay. But the debilitated Saturn will do its work for sure. Because wherever the Saturn, wherever the graha was present in it, it's do its work. No one can change that. But how you can change that? Maybe because of your prayer, because of your chanting, because of your willpower, you can change this energy, that's for sure. But whatever the graha which is present in it, it will do its for sure. But one of my teacher was told me the dimension which we are living in a free will dimension, your entire horoscope can be changed by the chanting and the prayer, but no one believes that. It depends upon the any person's willpower only. But if this person was having a good willpower, then definitely this person will be very active and the person is very strong. But the debilitated Saturn will do its work for sure.
Won't that Digbala help, ma'am?
Digbala, but here is the interesting thing. See, imagine, now I show you the different one. Now the Dhanur Lagna, Saturn was in the Mithuna. This Digbala will do exactly what it is. Okay? Now, this situation, now I think, now I show you in a different way. Now the Saturn was here, Lagna was the Mesh Lagna. Now this one will do it very, very efficiently because the Saturn energy is really high. It will do it for sure. This person is really active and strong. It's for sure it will happen. Okay, then you may ask how you can see that effect in one's life. You can see that when the Dashabhuti was happening, when the Gocharam Graha combination was happening, when particularly this Bhava activation, whenever the Saturn was influencing the 149, see, when the Saturn was influencing this, when the 149 Bhava get activated, that is the time where you can see that exactly the Saturn in the Digbala will going to give that effect in your life. But when the Saturn was in here, it will give for sure. It won't change any of its effect. But the Saturn energy is highly reduced. See, when the Saturn was here, the energy was 100%. When the Saturn was liberated, the Saturn energy was 0%. When it was in another rashis, it will be different level. But even then, it will do its work. Because the Dikbala means wherever it was positioning, that balam, the Dikbala means where it will show its more potential. But when the debilitated Saturn, it won't give you that much effect. That's why I want to show you that as an example. But keep that in mind. If you find anything different, we will discuss that. This is what my understanding, because when the debilitated Saturn was there, it's do its work for sure, even if it is in the Dikbala. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, we'll see the 8th house from next week. Let's quickly see the Satish horoscope for 10 minutes.
No,
Very
we
quickly.
can close it today, man. It's already 3:50.
At least I will finish this for 5 minutes. I'll finish in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Very quickly finish it. Okay, today's house is for the 7th house. Okay, there was a few things I have to discuss here. The 7th, very quickly I go through. 7th house, house lord is the guru. First house, what are the few things we have to see in the 7th house? It represents your spouse. Okay, this is the mother's mother. Then you can see what is that mother's mother. See, from the 4th house, it represents your mother. From the mother's house, 4th house represents the mother's mother. Is this clear? This is the Bhava house. Okay, 7th house represents your spouse, 7th house represents your mother's mother, and the business partners, partnership business, and your travel for your work, any kind of your social context. Okay, the gift means whichever you give or whichever you get, everything in the 7th house only. And comes into physical organs, kidney and the spinal cord. And very importantly, the people will see this for the marriage. People see for if the love will be success, failure, or not. Okay. Now, quickly, let's see. This all the things we have to see. When comes into the Satish horoscope, 7th house is the Dhanu Rashis. Only one graha was present in it. So here you have to do the one trick. So this is the order we have to arrange. When according to the Satish horoscope, I place all the grahas in the degree wise. So the highest degree planet is the Mars. The lowest degree planet is the Jupiter. Okay, the one thing here was whatever you desire in your life, the highest degree planet will give you easily. But whatever you desire in your life, which is significant to the lowest degree planet, you have to put your effort and get it. Okay, mostly the highest degree planet will give that to you very, very easily. Now the Mars in the 7th house, the people will say when the Mars in the 7th house means it brings the separation, but it's not like that. When it comes into the separation, there are the various exceptions you have to follow. Then you have to see whether this jataka is for the separation or not. But for this one, when the guru aspecting, so that one is cancelled, it is the kind of proportion. And mostly when the people will say 7th house Mars will give that kind of the dosha in the Jataka's life. But it won't be like that. If there are the many exceptions, there are many rules to follow to find out the Seva dosha Jatakam or not. But for this one, we can easily find out Guru aspect was there, then you won't consider that one as the Seva dosha Jatakam. Mars is the Atma Karaha for here because it is the highest degree planet. Okay, what does that mean? The Jataka comes back with the karma, which is for the which is relevant to the Mars planet. Okay, now let's see about the Mars. Mars was expecting. Now let's see here. The 26 degree 45 minutes. And the Guru it was in the Guru's house. Guru owns the two house. One is in the 7th, and another is the 10th house. 10th house, no graha present in it. 7th house, only one graha, that is Mars. It was aspected by the two planets, Moon and the retrograde Jupiter. It aspects the 10, 1 and the 2nd houses. So Mars aspecting the 10th house, Mars aspecting the Lagna, Mars aspecting the 2nd house. Okay, but Mars is also owned by the 6th and the 11th house. This is for our information to keep that in mind. So when it will get impacts in your life, when the Mars Dasha was happening or the Guru Dasha was happening, or particularly when the Guru Buddhi, Savai Buddhi was happening, when the Kosharam, exactly this combination was coming, or when the relevant Bhava, the Bhava which we listed here, 10, 1 and 12, if you did any of the actions which is relevant to that Bhava, then this this particular house will get activated. Then this combination will take place into your life. Okay, now let's see. Oh, no, not this one. It is not now to discuss. It's just data. Okay, now let's see what is the seventh house very quickly. Okay, let's ask Satish itself. How is your marriage? How is your married life? I mean, you fight with your wife all the time, or
that I do a lot. Even she also does. And at the end of the day, it's all friendly in the end.
Okay, imagine a situation when the Jupiter was not aspecting. If you have a fight, it will be end in the war only. Because of the Guru was aspecting, it will be pacified. Whatever the emotion, the bursted emotion will be pacified because of the Jupiter and the Moon aspect. So when the Mars was here, it is a combination of you have to see the combination of the Mars and the Guru also, because Mars was sitting in the Guru's house. When that combination was coming, these people are really strong in nature and they have the good wisdom, but they also have the tendency to fight with others, especially when it comes into the spouse. They have the tendency to fight. It comes as their nature. That's why
Very much.
When the people were seeing seventh house Mars means they hesitate to match the horoscope. It have to be the other horoscope. That means the wife horoscope have to become in such a way that it have to be pacifies the Mars energy. Otherwise, the people will fight all the time. See, when the couples was fighting, what is the end result? They won't maintain the peace in the home, right? So that will be they won't achieve the peace in any time. But when the good auspicious graha was aspecting, you can manage. You can manage. But when you understand, okay, the Mars was here, I have the tendency to fight means, okay, for you, the one homework for you is when the Mars was coming here in the Pocharam, the Mars over Mars, see your fighting range. Are you aggressively fighting, or you are continuously fighting, or you feel like, okay, I'm saturated and I don't want to fight. You see that your how your emotion was accelerating, particularly on this combination.
Sure.
And the Mars, when the Chandra is over your Mars, now I guess today is also like that. Yeah, today. Today, how much? How long you can fight? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
That much only, yes.
Yeah. But when the Mars over the Mars will come in, then I don't know when it will come.
Another 6 months.
That is the time you see how it was, how it will affect your day-to-day life. And okay, mainly when it will be how much affected, particularly in the Dasha Buddhi. Okay, when this combination peoples, they literally won't get married during the period of SIVA Dasha or SIVA Buddhi. When the seventh house Mars was present, even if you put an attempt to marriage in the time of the SIVA Dasha, SIVA Buddhi, you won't get married. So you remember when you get married and what Dasha, what Buddhi?
I think it was Guru Desha, I think so. Just a minute. Just hold on.
Vanita, will the same thing apply for friends, business partners, everything? Because seventh house indicates friends as well as business partners too, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They have the tendency to fight. See, even before the discussion itself, they won't put the fight in the front. And once they settle down, they come into the discussion.
I got married in Saturn and Venus Dasha. 2nd February 91.
Okay. When this combination peoples, you won't see the peoples, they will get married in the Siva Dasha, Siva Buddhi. It won't allow. Even they put the lots and efforts, They will get married in the next Dasha. So this one, keep that in mind. Okay, then you will say, I don't know, I got married on my Mars in the 7th house, but I got married in the SIVA Dasha, SIVA. The marriage won't last long because they literally had a tremendous energy of fight with each other. They will ended up in a fight and the marriage will be broken into very, the amount of the period they together will be very less. Okay. Anybody want to discuss anything about this Jatakam?
Anita,
I
one
just wanted.
question.
Hmm.
No, I think Satish had something to say.
No, you can continue, ma'am. I'll take it
Okay.
afterwards.
Yeah, one question, because in Satish's horoscope in Bhava, Jupiter goes to the 12th house. So how will that affect?
Jupiter goes where?
In Bhava, comes to the 12th house, right? Jupiter.
Oh.
So how does that impact?
Okay. When you see the 7th house, when you see the 7th house where it goes, when you see the Rasi chart, you have to be stick with the Rasi chart only. Okay. When you see the Bhava Shalit, how long the Jupiter will be extended? See, the Bhava Shalit is a totally different story. This is okay. You have to be your eyes have to be fixed only on the Rasi chart for all the analysis, for all the research. The Bhava Shalit, you have to come back and see if the Guru's energy is also having an influence in the house which is behind and the house which is in the front. Why? When they are having a dividing the 30 degrees, usually there was a calculation that people will go along with the Lagna, the people go along with the different combination of the degrees. So that time, the Jupiter was placed in here instead of in the Rasi chart. This is the standard calculation for the Rasi chart. So Jupiter was present here. But when you're calculating the Bhava Shalit, the Jupiter will be present in the 12th house. So you won't consider this one for when you are researching about the 7th house. Whenever you see, you put your eyes on the Rasi chart first. The Bhava Shalit, I will tell you later why I placed it. Okay. Don't consider now Bhava Shalit because it will lead you the different conclusion. Grasp the Rasi chart first. Okay. But even then, there is a different story here. When the retrograde planet was present, the people will consider the previous rasis, but don't do don't do your research on that way. Go with the Rashi chart wherever the graha is. Then later on, you can correct your whatever the theories in your mind. You can make your correction later on. But at this moment, stick with the Rasi chart. I will come back to the Bhava Shalit later. Don't worry, I won't miss it. I come back with the Bhava Shalit later. But whenever you saying anything relevant with the Bhavas, go with the Rasi chart first. Okay? If it was aspecting, go with the Rasi chart. Don't see the Bhava Shalit. Aspecting, you should not see the Bhava Shalit. Aspect only the Rasi chart.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sadesh was saying something?
Since you were telling about marriage, I just want to tell the Tula Lagna and Saturn in Mesha. That's my wife's placement also.
Tula Lagna and
Saturn in 7th house, Mesha.
wow.
You were telling the example of one of, I think Rachna ma'am was telling about one example.
Yes. And how is your, okay, let's see quickly. Okay, how is your wife? And this is the Tula Lagna, right? And the Saturn was here. Okay, now we have an example. Saturn was debilitated here. The third Lagna. And okay. So which one match with her? Which one with which isn't?
9th Bhava, third aspect is perfect. She loved her father and she does a lot of religious pujas and all she does. Luck with home front, and it's half. I can say it's not so much, 40 to 50% only. First Bhava, actually, she's very weak in this thing. She's always telling her hands are paining, her legs are paining, her head is paining, anything every day she'll be telling one. And especially now, I think her Saturn period is happening. The last leg, I think, should be crossing this week. 7.5 years, it was a big struggle for her in health wise.
Yeah, it's a great struggle. Yeah, for sure it will be. Yeah.
And we are trying to fix a marriage for our son, looking at the bride, and still going on. Probably this weekend, after that, hopefully next month it will fix. We hope. We are just crossing our fingers. That emotionally she's getting very worried. Hopefully.
For who it was, let's see about. This is a very good example, Satish. Thank you so much. Let's see about you and your Lagna is a Tula Lagna, and his Saturn was here. And this becomes your 11th Bhava. This is also shows you will definitely fight.
Definitely?
They fight with each other. When the Saturn was in your 7th house, and your 7th house was Mars. Mars and the Saturn, somewhat, they put everything into an argument. The fight is not like they will ended up in a war. It was like they put argument in everything.
Yes, there's no logic in any fight.
Yeah. Okay, I took too much of the time today. We'll end the class here.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.